Okay, so we are here. It is the Relatively Young Podcast.
Woohoo.
Back with another episode.
Yes.
Yeah, Allie. So, how are you feeling? It's a great day to do a podcast. That's all I.
Yeah, it is a great day to do a podcast, especially a new idea that we were talking about. Noah and I were just, chatting as siblings do,
As one.
and we were talking about how, like, I know quite a bit about Noah's like interests in terms of like movies and music and things like that, and vice versa. He knows the same about me, but the same can't be said about like a lot of our aunts and uncles. Like I couldn't even tell
Yeah.
you what the first concert that some of them went to was, or like what's their favorite movie, things like that. So we thought a fun thing that we could start doing, just to kind of, I guess, get a sense of of what our aunts and uncles, our relatives, were like, in different phases of their life, would be to do something that we have been calling pop culture timeline. So we'll just essentially a new thing that we're going to try and start doing is asking our aunts and uncles and various members of our family questions about their pop culture interests, so that we can kind of get a place, a time, a feel for what all the different stages in their life were like.
Yeah, it's
So
hard
we
to
are so
believe.
excited.
It is hard to believe that our role models as children growing up were once in our shoes,
Mhm.
trying to what let's go find a band to see this weekend. Yeah,
Right.
that's something you don't necessarily think about,
Yeah.
They were once in our shoes, same way that we will be in their shoes eventually.
Right. And so we might as well take this
Yeah,
opportunity while
let's
it's,
learn.
a kind of a slow time outside,
Mhm.
cold and blustery out there, even down here in Louisiana.
Yeah,
We might as well take some time to record all these memories and all these fun stories. So that's why
yeah,
we're here today.
very good. So we who did we rope into, who did we guilt into coming onto our show, Allison?
Our wonderful Aunt Nancy is going to be
Oh.
our first pop culture timeline.
Yeah.
She said she was super pumped. I'm super pumped to hear more about it because I know some of her sports things that she likes. I know that I consistently play Words with Friends against her, and that's always fun. And besides that, I don't know much else about all of the different stories and things that she's going to share about her life. So
You
I'm
will learn
super
today.
pumped.
Yeah, it's gonna be
I'm
great.
super pumped.
Oh man, can't wait. I guess the
Fantastic.
next clip will be us talking to her. Whoa.
Oh man, next clip. Get ready for it.
Hello.
Hey.
Grandma. I getting closer?
I always forget that you are a grandma now. You and you and
Hey.
Jerry is like, oh, we're gonna go see Nana. I'm like, wait, what? Nana's the way. Oh, they call you Nana now. Okay.
Okay.
Hey.
Whoa.
Hi.
Oh my God, I'm hideous.
No, you're beautiful.
Oh, thank you. No, not at all. I look awful. All right. Let me get me. Ugh. All right. No, I just don't like to show anybody my face these days.
You
Well,
got.
how are you guys? You look great. Where are you at, Noah?
I am in my basement.
That is so cool. Have you ever been down there?
Yeah,
Well, I've been down there long.
Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah, I did have I was watching more podcasts. I go, oh, if we're gonna try and do something, I have to have an interesting background. So what science,
Yoda.
what junk do I have around here that could be cool? So I have my Guardian
what I love?
thing.
And I have it, the Empire's carpet guy.
Oh,
yes.
And then that's Devin Hester next to him.
Why is she yapping? Why are you yapping? Why did you yap? I took a nap. This is what happened. I took a nap and I set an alarm so I'd wake up, right?
Right.
My alarm was set to a doorbell. Where you go? That has set her off for like 15 minutes.
Oh.
Nice.
Don't do that again.
Noah,
What?
we were doing some spring cleaning in my old room.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's any good, but I have an old, way back when I got an electric guitar, I have like an old little amp.
Oh.
For it. I don't know, maybe if you'd want it, because otherwise we were just gonna toss it. So
I'll take it off your hands, no problem.
Cool.
I don't know if it's any good or anything. Or like
Yeah.
it's
We
like,
will. That will be determined at a later date. And if
Yeah,
not,
that's
if
probably
not, then it will be exploded using rock and roll.
Well,
that's fine. It's better than the garbage.
2 solid options.
One
Is
way.
that your house? Now Allison, you're in your front room.
This is my office / extra storage space.
She saw my background and was like, I gotta have a cool background too.
I know. I was very jealous of his background, but I don't have as much nerdy stuff here. I do,
No, but
but
this is cool.
yeah, I put up all my other
there's the
random
license-
stuff.
There's a license plate behind my head. That's what I got that from
Ah.
Poppy's house.
Really?
Yeah, when we were doing the cleanup.
When everybody was throwing everything in everybody's boxes. I'm
Yeah.
reading, like, Perry, why'd you get this stuff? I don't know. Sue threw it in my box.
Oh,
Yep.
Sue was like forcing people to take things home. Like, oh, did you
She
grab?
was on top of
We
it.
need this too. I was like, Sue, I don't think we need another.
Here, I
set
tell
of
Nick, I
china.
said, Nick, don't take home any tools.
Right.
Oh,
Yes.
Oh man, I got a bunch of old tools. Like, we got a bunch of rusty saws. So I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna
Nice.
do with them, but that rusty saws. I got a cool.
Yeah, but hammers and screwdrivers and stuff, they
Yeah.
don't make them like that.
Oh no, I got
No.
like an old school like drill that you have to turn like an egg beater or something ridiculous. I was like, how did anything get built back in that time?
Right.
I don't understand it.
A lot of
Yeah.
elbow grease.
A lot of elbow grease.
Seems like it. Too much effort, if you ask me.
Yeah. Well, our speaking of I guess back in the old days,
Yes.
nothing. We definitely wanted to pick your brain about some what we're calling our pop culture. What is it, Allie?
At least we've been calling it the pop culture timeline.
Pop culture.
So I don't know. Did you see it? It was attached to one of the emails. If not, no worries. Did you get a chance to look
I
at
didn't.
it? No worries.
So
So-
yeah, we just had a couple of questions because so yeah, the gist of it is like we know a lot about our cousins, like their interests and stuff, and like we've grew up with them, so we kind of know their hobbies, what they were
You
interested
did grow up with
in at
them.
the time.
Yep.
Yes, we did. So we kind of realized we don't have that kind of same knowledge base for our aunts and uncles. So we wanted to
Yeah.
kind of go through and ask you about some of your interests when you were a little baby.
So we have 4 different eras. So it's childhood, high school, college era, and then adulthood, like current day and age. And we have like a couple, there's like 5 or 6 different options of questions. Do you want us to read them to you and you can pick what questions you want to answer, or
Sure.
should we surprise you with
You
whatever
can
we
surprise
think?
me.
Okay. All right.
I can go with the flow.
Hey,
Sounds good. And then yeah,
I'm gonna
we'll
put
just
on
kind
makeup,
of.
but I don't think it would have helped.
no, I'm gonna be fine.
It's okay. You look beautiful.
Beautiful.
I know.
Yes.
I have pandemic hair.
Hey, don't. Hey, I just put a
We
hat.
all have
So don't
pandemic
even
hair.
worry about it.
Why do you think my hair is like as far back as possible? This is, barely any water in Shreveport.
Yeah, that's true. Allison took a shower for the first time in a week.
Yeah.
Oh no,
Oh, it was nice.
for real?
Yeah, they
Yeah,
don't.
we haven't had any
no
water
water.
pressure.
Oh no.
Yeah, all the pipes in the city burst apparently. So it's been a boil advisory for any water that we could get, and we've been filling up jugs whenever we do get water. Bathtubs are all filled up, all that kind of stuff.
You got heat.
Got heat. We were
All right.
fortunate we have not lost power.
Yeah.
Good.
We can't say the same about
Good.
like our neighbors just a couple blocks away. So
If you ask me, Nancy, all of those Southerners who are complaining about the cold, giant babies.
oh my gosh.
Tell them
I think
get some
so.
salt and some boots and go shovel their snow.
I
Come on. You think just because there's no water or power, it's not your duty to shovel your
Do they
sidewalk?
have shovels?
No, they don't. They use garden shovels, and it's like, oh, that's why all of your sidewalks are going to be all messed up.
No.
Those
Uh,
babies.
I know.
So cold, my pipes
Oh.
are freezing. Welcome to Chicago.
Where our building codes
Work out.
are up to date. Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Everybody's sending them. Oh man, I'm praying for those people. No, come on. Toughen up. Put a
It'll be
jacket on.
fine.
You'll be
Yeah.
fine.
Oh,
I'm glad you have power.
yes.
Yeah.
Me too.
Thank God you have power and water still, Allison.
It was
Wow.
getting dicey there.
Yeah.
The biggest thing was you couldn't go anywhere for a week because they weren't plowing any streets. So like when John did have
They
to
don't have
go,
plows.
they don't, and they have no salt.
The city physically does not own
So
salt or plows. Yeah.
so like even though like people lost water, like we still had some consistently dripping out, so we could still fill a pot to boil and everything, but some people like had no water at all. So even they couldn't even go to the stores because all the stores were closed. So people would go to gas stations, I guess, and they were stealing like the outdoor, like the jugs of water and just like
Oh,
shoving
no.
money under the door, like sorry,
God.
and then they were just taking it and leaving.
How much snow did you get? Did you get snow?
We did. We got like a layer of ice and then a layer of snow on top that was probably, I would say like 6 inches, not quite 6, maybe more like 4
Wow.
inches, and then a layer of ice on top that smushed it all.
Well, that's catastrophic for down there.
Yeah.
It was not great.
That's what we call gridlock down there, down south.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
And then,
that's-
it just never got like every night it would get to like 3 degrees, So
Wow.
it was not good.
No, Allison, 3-degree.
Listen, I'm with you.
Man, I sympathize to a point, then I go,
I'm with
okay,
you.
live
I know.
someplace that, has seasons.
This is true.
Hey, we had 0 for a week.
That's 100% true. Yeah.
And you guys got so much snow. Holy cow.
Oh, snow. Oh my gosh. Yeah. There's I was running out of I couldn't get my snowblower to shoot up high enough to get
You know what? That's the
out with
problem.
snow.
All the corners are so high.
I know.
When you try to pull a car out or anything from a corner, you can't see around the snowbank. And you
Oh,
can't
that's
shovel
right.
the snow up over the snowbank. I had no
Right.
clue where my mailbox is.
I haven't got
It's all
mail.
about the front.
You know what? We haven't gotten mail in a week, so that's what it is at this
Oh,
point. Like, well,
We
I
had
don't think ours stopped.
yeah, no, ours
that's
didn't
so
stop.
good.
Yeah. We had
Wow.
a like because they don't have the pickup station for like electronics anymore because I guess it was like a COVID thing. They didn't want people just dropping off stuff. So we had to call like waste management to come and pick up. I garbage picked a couple TVs and neither of them ended up working. I couldn't get them fixed up, but it's like, yeah, we'll come out and pick them up on the day. It was like, oh, we're gonna get 9 inches of snow. Yeah, okay, guys. So they did not come and pick those. So we're still.
It was kind of an obnoxious day. Yeah.
Yeah.
We picked a great time.
Whew.
We've
Yeah,
easily
trying-
got 2 feet on the snow right
Oh
now.
yeah,
2 feet
easily.
on the ground.
That's insane to me.
But I have a little dog. It's really insane to her.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
The first thing he had to do was he had to keep shoveling her a spot on the back patio.
Yeah.
9 inches off the ground.
Right. Oh my.
Yeah, she can't run on top of that snow.
Yeah, we.
Oh hell no!
I
She
my
goes in, I won't find her.
No.
I put my cat out in the snow for the first time in a while.
Oh,
she
no.
did not. She was
That's
not
rude.
impressed. She's like, what?
That was rude.
I was.
She
late.
likes going out there. She likes going out there, man, but not when it's snowy.
Not when it's cold. Not when it's snowing. There was an ice
I don't
cream on her
particularly-
head. She
yeah.
goes, screw this. I'm going inside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too funny.
Cool. So.
Okay. Well,
I
do you
guess
want to do a little quick intro, Noah, and then
Yeah.
I'll get the questions ready?
we can get right to the questions. So we're doing our pop culture timeline. So we're talking with our Aunt Nancy and yeah, I guess Allison has some questions for you when we're super young because
Yes.
I have some ones for later.
Yeah. Well, I guess the first things first, can you explain how we are all related?
Yes. Okay, that's a good one to start off with.
Well, your grandparents had 12 children. And so you are the spawns of one of the my younger brother, Thomas. I'm the oldest. There's a few in between. And there's what, I think 29 grandchildren?
Sounds right.
And
Yeah, that's right.
six great grandchildren, 5 of which are born. The little princess now is Miss Abby.
Yes.
5 are boys, 1's a girl.
Yep.
So
I almost forgot about Abby for a second. I was like, wait, who's the 5th?
yeah,
She just turned 2, I think. Like, it's not a new
3.
thing.
Noah, she's turning 3.
Abby is?
Yeah.
No.
You're going to learn something. Time just goes too fast.
What?
Yeah, she's turning 3.
Hence why we have to remember all of our fun stories, right?
Where is
This is why I need a written, not a written record, but a video record of things that actually go down so I can remember.
every time we used to go to a family party, I'd have to sit down and say, and then I'll go, all right, now tell me quick who everybody is. Well, there's only 50 people here.
Yeah, this is not a big
So
party.
it's the same thing though. Now my parents had numerous children, but so did their siblings. So just how you guys spend a lot of time growing up with your cousins, because your parents spent a lot of time together, so did we.
Makes sense.
How many cousins did you have?
I don't know.
Not like ballpark. I know our family's pretty big, but like I don't know.
Am I in the center? I'm trying
Yeah.
to put myself in the center. Okay.
Yeah, that looks pretty good.
As Nick would say, I have a shit ton.
Because what
I
I think
made that word up, but I really like a shit ton of cousins.
It's a good one.
it's a good measurement.
There
think.
was I remember in grade school we would always have debates over like what's the difference between an ass load, a shit ton, and like all these made up measurements.
Yeah. These are the debates that need to
Hey,
happen
you know,
more often.
I think
And Nick started
what I
using
would
it all the time, and I was like, "Oh, I love that."
Yes,
So I use
Nice.
it too.
definitely.
Not
It's yours now. You know? So I do have one more question before we get started. Something that we've asked all of our guests that we have filmed thus far is if you were to explain to someone who has never met any of our family members in one story, explain the gist of what it means to be a member of the Young family, what would you say? What story would you tell?
Oh my gosh! Well, one thing, we're all loud.
There is no argument there.
Yeah.
That is the understatement of the year.
Yeah.
Try to think of one story.
What did Heidi say? Because I know Ben was a loud fart. I remember Poppy just like it was just a
Oh my
loud
God.
fart out from
Yeah.
Poppy.
And then he
Middle of
sit there
dinner or
like
something.
nothing ever happened.
Right. He's like, oh, what do you
drugs, you guys?
what do you mean that was gross? I don't get
Yep.
it. Yeah.
I can't remember. I
Yes.
think, yeah. Maybe
I know
something
mine
about
was
the
Adele's.
Dells.
Mine was Adele's story. Poppy was guarding our chairs one year, and a strange woman decided to you know to try and take a chair, and it was like a hey, what are you doing? That was when Poppy was in his wheelchair at the time, and he physically got up out of the wheelchair to chase after this woman who stole our
Oh my gosh!
chair, and I was
That doesn't surprise me.
it was hilarious.
I think my story was getting thrown in the pool at Brian and Mary's house.
It's a
And
classic.
then I came out in
prom
Mary's
dress.
prom dress.
That was funny.
Because I, gotta
that
watch your
was
wording.
Christening? Birthday?
I think it was a christening
It was
or...
it was some event that did not justify throwing someone in a pool. That's
Correct.
I have
Correct.
no idea what you're talking.
I remember like we were all in like nice clothing. It
Yeah,
was like I was in a dress and like, yeah.
no
Yeah.
throwing you in the pool, whatever.
I might have assisted in throwing your brother in the pool.
Everybody's thrown me in a pool at some point.
I think so. I think so.
Whatever. Par for the course. I
Yeah.
don't hold it against anybody. So what do you got, Nancy? What do you think?
All right. Why could I not come up with something fun? Well, I just have a silly old story that we were kids and we lived on Maplewood in Chicago. And we were sitting in the dining room. So it must have been, I don't know, a Sunday or whatever. I think it might have been a holiday. And so we're all sitting there and my parents aren't there. And my brother Steve puts his hand on the mashed potato spoon and he pops it. And a blob of mashed potatoes stick on the ceiling.
Uh-oh.
So now we're all just, we can't keep from giggling. We cannot keep laughing, and we can't, of course, we can't turn anybody in either.
Right.
You can't do that.
Everybody's
So
witnessing
the
this
whole,
horrible crime.
oh my God, the whole time we're eating dinner, we can barely laugh because we can't look at each other because we're all crack up. And it was the craziest dinner I ever had because you're just waiting for this, great, it's going to fall down on Dad's head. We're all dead. It was pretty much what we were thinking. So
Oh my God.
they did not fall down. And then later, needless to say, as soon as Mom and Dad were out of there, Steve scurried up to the ceiling and scooped off the mashed potatoes. But just to sit there and eat with his mashed potato blob over the table, going, oh my God, we're going to die. And we were just, we couldn't look at each other. We couldn't laugh. We couldn't eat.
Oh my God.
So I guess
believe
we
it.
can be very silly.
But nobody turned anybody in. And
I was
that's
gonna say that's solidarity.
No, as a matter of fact, we told my dad years later, I mean, probably 20 years later. And then he'd bring it up. You know, I'm still mad about the mashed potatoes.
You didn't even notice the first time. Come on, Poppy. What?
No, they didn't. Well, they didn't fall.
They didn't fall. He didn't notice. Come on. Why do
He
you
was like
It was so funny.
retroactively mad
He
at
brought
you.
it up for years. I think we told him 20 years later. You know, Dad.
Oh my God.
And I'm really pissed you guys did that. And he just really got all upset. And he brought it up forever. I'm really still mad about mashed potatoes.
Oh my gosh, the retroactive anger.
Oh my God.
That's perfect.
Didn't notice for
So that's a
20 years.
silly story because I think
love
we're
it.
silly at heart.
I
Oh, for
agree.
sure.
We are very goofy in
We are,
spirit.
and I don't think we all take ourselves very seriously.
I don't know
like to
about
have
you,
a good
Nancy, but
time.
I take myself incredibly seriously.
He says in a joking manner.
No. And 100% honest.
I do too.
Sure.
I do too. I'm working on it.
Uh-huh.
So that's a
Nice.
silly story because
That's a good one.
I have not heard that one. That is good. Okay,
I don't know if
so
your dad remembered. He might have been
the littlest
Lisa
one.
and Steve to this day. You could ask Sue about the mashed potatoes on the side.
I will. I definitely
And
will.
she will crack up.
Why do we specifically have to ask Sue? Was she the one who flipped the potatoes
No,
up?
it was Steve,
It was Steve.
Steve.
but I don't know if your dad will
I would,
remember.
I'll ask him
about it.
later.
Might have been a
Steve
little.
does seem a little more reasonable.
That he was the one that instigated it all.
Doing something that
He was a character.
some shenanigans. Yeah, most likely.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, so as pop culture timeline processes dictate, we're going to start with your childhood. We're going to try to get some insight into what your pop culture life was like. So, out of our selection of questions, I was going to ask you first and foremost, because rumor has it your love of sports started early.
Yeah.
What sports did you discover and play while you were a child?
I just loved hockey.
Hockey?
And it was funny. When my dad, when we were in trouble,
Mm-hmm.
he'd make you sit down in front of the TV, which always had sports on. So it's you learn to like it, figure it out, or just sit there bored out of your
Yeah.
skull.
Gotcha.
So then I'd always ask questions. Like my favorite was, Dad, what's the first down? What's the first play? Well, why do we call it a first down? Why don't we just go 1, 2, 3, punt? First down. First down what? Where's a down?
Right.
I always thought the rules were funny.
I never thought about that.
Yeah.
You're so
I
right.
played basketball and volleyball. I like to ice skate. We lived behind a park.
I do know. I do have a bunch of. Or my dad always tells us stories about. Because there was like a dead end street that you guys lived on, and then there was a park behind you, and then I think there were like train tracks back there, and he's like, "Yeah, we would just get into shenanigans, run up."
And it was funny because we'd always, and the universal sign to come home was my parents would put on the garage light.
Classic.
And my girlfriend's parents would put on their porch light. So, and we all hung around together. So we'd be at the park and we'd be skating or doing whatever the heck we were doing. And we would ignore it forever. I don't know, Mom. I didn't see it. To find out years later, My mother knew we'd ignore it, so she put it on a half hour before she went us home.
Just to
You
account for
always
it.
think
She
you're
knew how
pulling
the system
something
worked.
off on your parents. Yep. You always think you're pulling something over and just like, oh my gosh, you really figured all that out.
She's like, nice
Yeah.
try.
Oh my
It really.
Yeah,
But
I know my dad will tell stories about about doing some shady, not necessarily legal things, and then it's always like, oh yeah, Nana never knew, and
We're like, did she
Not
though?
a
she
new.
probably knew.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
She knew what was going on in that
He
house.
was so on to him, and
Oh,
he
yeah.
really thought he was fooling her. And Jerry always gave crap. You really think you're really stupid. She knows all about it. Yeah, Jerry tried to straighten him out. It didn't work.
Of course not. So what
Oh,
was
yeah.
it about hockey that was so interesting?
Well, I think it's because I like to skate, and Dad made a rink. My dad used to freeze our backyard.
Hmm.
Not as big a lot, but so we skate. Well, we only had a couple of sticks. So if you played goalie, you got the broom. And we had like two
Perfect.
sticks. So there was 2 forwards and 2 goalies. And that was our hockey game in the
Yeah.
back. And not everybody had skates. So you just were out there in your boots. But yeah. So you had to be goalie with a broom.
That's amazing. Did you guys bake up? I know they have like Basque ice ball or not. I know Basque. What is it? Oh no.
I don't know. You're trying to make a reference. I can't follow.
I don't know. I know that people would make up rules for. Oh no, it's from How I Met Your Mother. I thought where it was Basque ice
Oh.
ball, where it was like basketball mixed with hockey or something silly, but they would just like combine different sports because they didn't have the equipment for all of them.
Ah,
That's kind of what we
Pretty
did.
much what it was. We have 1 basketball, 2 hockey sticks, and 8 kids. Okay.
All right, let's do
Okay,
it.
where do we
How
go?
it works.
Well, I can't play hockey. How do you be a goalie? Get a broom.
Yeah, get a broom.
Push broom from the glass.
That's amazing.
Very nice. So the other question that I'm curious about perhaps is what was your favorite like after school snack or candy or treat that you kind of always go towards? And did you always know that you had like some different allergies and things like that?
I didn't as a kid. That all came up later. Um, one of the things we had a lot, which is one of the things I'm eating right now, when you got this whole tribe of people, is
Mhm.
popcorn. It's really cheap.
Oh
So
yeah.
my dad would make it, and he'd just fill up a whole brown garbage bag, and then you can pretty much eat till you stuffed because it didn't cost them a ton of money. So they didn't buy a lot of chips and all that kind of stuff. When we were super, super fancy, you got to have a soda pop.
Oh,
Oh,
And they
man.
came in the bottles, and but that was a big treat.
Mm.
That was like once in a blue moon. But that was
Nice.
such a huge treat, a soda pop. How many do we have a day?
Yeah. How times have
I
changed.
know,
What's your
right?
favorite soda flavor?
We had a cola, and I can't remember. Was it Diet Right?
Diet right. I know Nana loves her Dr. Peppers right now.
Diet Dr. Pepper. We all got hooked on Dr. Pepper.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if
Dr.
my
Pepper
mother
is-
started and we all just finished it. But
Dr.
we had
Pepper
our
is
Dr.
the
Pepper.
best. I think Dr. Pepper of the big colas, I think Dr. Pepper's the best.
I'm a Diet Pepsi person.
I do like
Uh-huh.
Pepsi's my number 2. Dr. Pepper, Pepsi, and then somewhere beneath RC and generic colas is Coca-Cola.
Ah. I did get to visit the Coca-Cola Museum, so I might be a little biased.
Uh-oh.
Ooh, that might be fun.
They paid her off.
is.
That's what it is.
It's pretty fun.
Hey, we're gonna give you $10 so that 5 years later you can go on your podcast and talk about
And mention it.
mention
Thanks, Coca-Cola.
You know, we have Super Bowl
Popcorn is
ads,
still
but we
my
definitely
favorite
need this
food
one
on the planet.
podcast. Yeah.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
So those are two of the questions I had about your childhood. Do you have any other stories that you would like to share about
like super young.
yeah, like TV,
stuff.
toys, musical instruments, anything like that from when you were little?
We didn't play musical instruments.
They
We
weren't
pretty
invented
much
yet.
got up and went outside.
Mm.
One of the
Yeah.
things my parents did, because they had small houses and they were full of children. So there's no family room or anywhere to kick us off to play. So one of the things they did in our first house on California was they made my mother and all our friends open boxes and cans and everything upside down, and they made us a grocery store. My dad made shelves. We had a counter. We had some sort of rickety little thing that was supposed to be a post or cash register, and then
Aw.
all the neighbor kids played in there. And then we'd have to put everything back and stuff. So what they always did was, when I was a kid, your outside, your playroom was the garage.
Mm-hmm.
Then when we moved to California, we moved to Maplewood. So we were at the other end of the parish. We're down to 160 Kensington, or right off of Western. We had this crazy garage that the door went up on both sides. So it was like a drive-through. You go in the driveway, through the garage, and out the alley.
Right.
Well, we had dance parties. We had all sorts of things. Hey, I was going to grow up and be a Supreme, you know.
Really?
What?
Oh my gosh, for real?
Oh my God.
Okay, I need more
Well,
info on that.
I had a little record. We had a little record player. We'd sit out there, and we used to try to copy like the Supremes moves and the Temptation stuff. Big band was, I mean, I grew up right in Motown.
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't have family rooms. My parents improvised. And the one thing that was nice about it is both doors open. You can't get rained on. You can't get.
True that.
And in the summer, that hot sun didn't beat on you.
Right.
So
you guys had.
That's what we did for playroom.
Oh, that's
we
awesome.
We had the garages.
That is perfect.
That's awesome.
We did. So that's what we did. And they were my parents didn't always get a car in there, but the grocery store was pretty cool.
Yeah. That sounds like it.
Yeah. So he just like made it out of like scrap wood that he had lying around, or
Like,
oh my gosh, that's awesome.
And then the neighbors because all the neighbor kids were going to play
you have
it. You open the soup can from the bottom and it looks like a can of soup.
Yeah.
And you open all your packaged stuff carefully and you tape it back up. So we had a ton of stuff.
That's awesome.
A little basket. It was pretty cool.
That's the way to do it.
My dance parties were fun. That was my tween age.
Well,
so what was your
perfect transition to high school era?
Literally, our next thing was going to be.
Yeah.
So the question that I have from your teenage era that I would like to ask is, since you were talking about the Supremes, what musician was your first download, CD, cassette, album, or 45? Because we had to write the questions so that they would work with everybody.
Yep.
So I know your first was not.
Hey, it wasn't a 78. It was a 33.
Was it 33?
The very first album I bought was Tommy James and the Shondells.
Tommy James.
Huh.
I don't know Tommy.
The original version. He did the original version of Moni Moni.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay. And so that was kind of the genre that you were dancing in the garage with, kind of big band Motown stuff.
That's cool.
Just sort of bubblegummy. Bubblegummy came out in there too.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's that whole that's sort of that's not like post doo-wop sort of era, but that's definitely like that Motown sort of like the start of all that stuff was coming out of Detroit too, so that's all Midwest music too, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if you had to recommend to the cousins, like this is like the one I don't know, singer or album or something music related that we need to listen to truly go back to like high school era Aunt Nancy, what would you recommend for us to listen to?
I remember one of my favorite albums later on, and I was still in that house, was Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. There was absolutely nothing that sounded like that. I mean, we were all into the Beatles. Everybody's into the Beatles. Mm-hmm. But that album just blew my socks off. It wasn't like anything we'd ever heard.
Yeah.
And, I like the old Beatles, but that one's probably my favorite Beatle album. Now, my husband and I can argue this one all day. I think his was Abbey Road.
His is Abbey Road, and yours is.
I think his was Abbey Road.
I smell another podcast going on where you and Uncle Perry just debate Beatles albums. I would be so down for that. All right. I have another follow-up high school question. Did you have like a celebrity crush growing up?
Oh man. Everybody has one, so it's not, you can't dodge this question. Oh,
I'm trying to think of which one should I
Everybody.
tell you.
The honest one.
All right. On the walls of my bedroom,
Mhm.
I was in Davy Jones of the Monkees.
Oh man,
Oh,
what a beefcake.
yes.
It was, yeah. And he's so cute.
Davy.
A short little guy.
Yep.
Who was Susie into? We had all sorts of. She liked David Cassidy. Partridge Family just came out around then.
Gotcha.
We
I
had
can
some
honestly
silly
say, yeah, I didn't watch much Partridge Family. That's one I never got into, but I definitely saw quite a few episodes of the Monkees TV show.
Yeah, reruns of the Monkees every once in a blue moon. Like what was
Yeah.
that? It
Oh
wasn't.
my God, those shows were so. You look at them now, they're horrible.
It's so strange.
But I
So,
still love old Monkees music.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
it's
I was listening to it the other morning. I was like, I'm feeling kind of weird this morning. I woke up on the wrong side of the bed. I'm gonna put some Monkees on, and all
walking
morning.
down the street. Yeah,
I love it.
I love it.
I
Just makes
actually,
it-
as an adult, I literally sought out, and there is a CD of the greatest hits.
Oh, nice.
It does
They-
exist.
And I know that they put out some new music recently, like
Really?
couple few years ago now,
What?
but fairly recently, I thought, or maybe I just rediscovered it. I don't know. You
I
know
don't
who
know.
we can ask later?
Well,
My
I'll
dad.
tell you what. I'll be looking. I'll
Yeah.
be googling that later.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess only other thought that I have on your high school era, if you don't mind answering this question.
Oh man.
What was maybe your most regrettable fashion choice, and what was your best fashion choice?
Most of the 70s were a regrettable fashion choice. To this day, I cannot look at bell-bottom pants without wanting to throw up. They were terrible. And try to ride a bike in those.
Oh, I can't imagine
You
that.
had to have a rubber band.
Caught up in the chain.
You did. You always caught your pants in your thing.
You put a rubber
other
band
thing
on them?
Yeah, around your ankles to hold your pants.
Doesn't
do that?
defeat the purpose
No.
of the bell bottom?
Not if you're on a bicycle.
And then when you
We
got there, you
everywhere
would.
on a bike. You
Oh
walked
my God.
or you rode. You
Yeah.
didn't. There was no driving somebody. Dad took the car. The car wasn't home all day. You wanted to go somewhere. So if you were on a bike and you had bell bottoms on, you were in trouble. So you had an ankle or you had a rubber band around your wrist and you'd put it around your ankle to hold your pants from getting caught in
The
I mean,
things you
that's-
do for fashion.
Brilliant. And also like the things that you don't think about.
That's something that has never been in a 70s movie. You've never seen
Yeah.
a
Really?
rubber band on. No, I've never seen that in a movie about. No, like that's
I
something.
don't know if
I've
the
never-
guys did it, but the girls, we had those big pant legs.
You put a
Right.
rubber band around your.
That's
We
brilliant.
thought we were so cool. Crocheted vests.
Oh,
Crochet
were
vest.
so fashionable.
Now that I have seen in 70s movies.
yeah, that
Oh,
one made it. That one made it through.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crocheted vests.
I
Ooh.
remember I always loved seeing pictures of everybody with giant glasses, and I always love those.
Oh yeah.
They look great. They look so.
But you look at old family photos. You could, it's funny, like collage photos. You could tell where they're from because you can look at the hair and go, "Whoops, I know where that's from." And then we all had big glasses. Then we all had John Lennon glasses. We had little glasses, and then
Yeah.
we had plastic. Then we all had wire. And now we're at whatever. At this point in my life, it's like, okay, is it comfortable on my nose? Good, that works.
Yep. I'm with you.
I have 20/20 vision, so cannot relate. Sorry, guys.
Get out of here.
Yes, not.
All right, well, that is all we got for high school era. Were there any
or-
other high school kind of stories that you want to share with us?
Was it high school?
It doesn't have to be. I mean,
I think it was high
it's
school, late high
stories.
school, early college. I heard this guy named Bruce Springsteen.
Whoa,
He
Ah.
released a song called Born to Run, and that frickin' blew me out of the water. That was just
Springsteen? I'm not familiar. Who is this guy?
Springsteen.
Bruce? I don't know. I might have to look him up. So what?
He
How old,
was
were you how old do you think you were when you first heard Bruce? His real fans call him Bruce.
Of course.
Bruce, my Bruce. Born to Run. That might have been a
College thing.
but Born to Run was the first song. It's like, and then I got that CD, and to this day, a record album. To this day, that is one of my favorite albums on the planet. It also has a song
Nice.
called 10th Avenue Freeze Out. And
Oh. Can't say I've listened to much of it. Can't say I've heard that one. I'll have to
You
go
have.
and look. I have.
you have
Probably
to know.
have. I've noticed that I'm awful with associating like band names with songs, especially if I don't like actively listen to the band. It's
Oh,
always
I'm
like,
terrible.
what's I know it's on the
We'll
tip.
be driving with Gary in the car. I'm like, who sings that song? Who sings that song?
I'm awful with remembering names, and it's not
Yeah.
just band names; it's like people's names too. It's bad.
That might be a genetic thing. I'm not real good.
It probably is.
I'm the same. To the point where I'm like, oh, if I like can avoid using any names in any
Oh, I
conversation,
do it
just
all
for
the
the
time.
fear
I do it all the
of
time.
accidentally calling you the wrong
Yeah.
name, I
feel
will.
it's called name shame.
Yep.
I feel shame when I ever
we
ask
call it?
somebody with their
Oh,
But yeah,
definitely.
I get nervous when oh my gosh. What? So yeah.
Well, that transitions nicely to college era because Springsteen was kind of influencing
So, yeah,
your musical life.
Yep.
But that sort of music definitely is something you still listen to Bruce Springsteen
Absolutely.
to this day, right? So did that kind of form your music tastes in college, or was that just like
Well, that was one of them, because another group that was really, really, that came out really big was Queen.
Oh,
Oh,
very familiar.
I forget that you guys grew up with all the good music. I forgot. Oh, that's right. Oh, okay.
Yes, we did.
Yeah. Queen was a big one.
Queen is our mom is a huge Queen fan. So
Huge.
Yep.
Very familiar. So what was college when you went to your first concert?
No. Wait, did I go to a concert in college? No. Well,
not even
no.
never in college.
I went to a school with 800 kids in it, or college with 800 kids, a very tiny college in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin,
Oh, that would
which
do
is on
it.
Lake Winnebago.
Nice.
No, there was no concerts on campus and all that neat stuff that kids have now.
We
our
went to
best
school. We
excitement.
got a rock
Well,
to play with.
We did have.
Yep.
I remember we had Margaret Mead come and talk at our school. She was a pretty
Whoa.
big deal. Ralph Nader.
Ooh.
Before he got totally cuckoo. But you know, that was what you had. You had speakers. You didn't have. There was no. And even the branch of the University of Wisconsin that was in town, they didn't have concerts. We
Interesting.
had guest speakers. Yes. Yeah, so
Gotcha.
I
Those
went
were some
to
good
this
ones.
tiny little school in the middle of nowhere. Now it's huge.
Yeah. Well, what was it like when it was still small? Were you in a dorm? Like, what did you guys eat for like snacks and stuff? Was there like a cafeteria that you went to? Okay. Okay.
What was like the one good thing that they had at the cafeteria?
In the morning, I loved me a good poached egg.
Ooh, nice.
Poached eggs.
Poached egg.
I didn't get
That's
that.
You'd go through the line, you'd get to the cafeteria, and there was an egg station. So you'd spray, the little egg station. You'd spray your little cup, put your egg in it, and then by the time you went through the line, you got your toast and your milk and your coffee and your whatever, you come back out, flop that egg over on your toast, and that was like my breakfast every day.
Nice.
Oh,
just loved my poached eggs.
Nice.
Sounds delicious.
Oh, that's awesome. So so our next question, so this sort of ties into, I know my dad always, like, anytime that there's a problem with our car, he always talks about how he used to fix everybody's cars, or not necessarily fix, but have to position them in the driveway.
Oh,
so
that
what was your first motor vehicle? Was that in this era as well?
I gotta claim this, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. I had a 1976 AMC Gremlin.
Woo!
Low to the ground, the back. No, it's even better. It's even worse. bright yellow with orange racing stripes.
Are you serious?
What?
So did you take that did you drive that up to college too?
No, I never had a car until I was out of school.
Oh, it was after.
So
Out of
I was
school.
never part
Okay.
of and when I was back in the house, I didn't have a car for a while. So I never was part of the strategic in the driveway, but we do it now. All right, who's got to get out first?
Right.
Yeah.
That means you got to go in last.
Mhm.
And that driveway was a pain in the butt because if you didn't swing out right, you hit if you didn't pull in right, you hit the front porch or the back porch. And those porches the whole back porch had to be rebuilt. And the front porch to this day, if you look at it, you can see where there's new concrete from all of his bashing it.
every
Ask
time
your dad
the
about that.
bumper
Ask
would
him how
take-
many times he ran into the front porch or the back porch.
I will ask him.
That'll be
Oh my
yeah.
God,
I'm
we all ran
writing
into
it down.
We should ask every one of the 12 siblings that question as
That's
we
a
go
good one.
through. How
I
many
drove
times
my
did
dad's
you?
car, which is big monster Buick wagon that about the size of a hearse. So, and I don't have very good depth perception. So I know I banged it regularly. So
Oh.
banged.
Goodness.
My parents and their porches.
Oh.
We trashed the back porch. All of us, we trashed it. He had to rebuild it.
Goodness.
Oh man. Yeah, that's
the one we know and love today.
yeah. Oh man.
So if I remember correctly, you are an avid reader. Did that start in college?
No, I started in grade school.
Great.
In grade school. So what were you kind of
Is that
reading
another? I was
throughout?
about to say, is that like there was no TV, there was no music stuff, so you were just like, I guess I'll read.
Kind of, sort of, that was it. You went outside. Especially in the summer, it was really hot. We would take a blanket out, my girlfriend and I, and get under a tree at somebody's house and sit and read books. And we'd go to the library. See, now here's where you have to have the rubber band on your bell bottoms.
Of course.
Pedal to the library. It was a little over a mile.
Mhm.
And it was in Mount Greenwood. It was off 111th, and I don't remember. So we'd go and we had our little baskets on our bike, and we'd take out like 4 or 5 books each. We'd read them, then we'd swap them. And so I read a ton. Obviously, in college, you read a ton, but
Yeah.
not for pleasure.
Right.
Right. Was there anything that kind of stuck with you that you were like, this kind of influenced like my thought process later in life, or like these characters were so cool that then, I saw this movie that reminded me of this, or anything like that?
To this day, I don't like watching a movie if I've read a book.
Oh,
The only
interesting.
thing that was different with that is I was okay with the Harry Potter movies,
I thought you were gonna
but the
say
books were so much richer, and they
Yeah.
had so much more. They had different characters. They had just whole different background stories and stuff, and there was
Right.
so much they missed. But that was one of the few movies that whole series that I didn't mind after I'd read all the books. But my mom's nose was always stuck in a book.
Yeah.
My mother was
she's always reading. I remember
Right.
we got her that what was the Kindle
Kindle.
Fire, the
So she could
Fire
zoom
thing?
in.
Yeah.
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 What is your preferred genre?
right now. I'm kind of into historical fiction and nonfiction. I've been real into biographies,
Nice.
reading
Any
about
Yeah, what's a
different
cool
people in
biography?
different ages.
What's a cool
Any-
biography you've read just recently?
Just recently, a cool biography I read was Michelle Obama, Becoming.
Ah,
Nice.
That
nice.
was such a great book.
Oh yeah.
it
That was
actually
such a great
got brought up as one of our options for book club, and I think it got second place, which means, at least for the book club rules that me and my friend made up, is that it gets entered into next month's book club selection as well.
It is awesome. It's just
Good.
awesome.
Oh, good to hear.
Good.
It is a great book. I have Promised Land. I just haven't read it yet.
Promised Land. Okay.
But yeah,
Nice.
I've been doing a lot of biographies. I read one about Winston Churchill.
Ooh. What was interesting about Churchill?
He was a crazy character.
Oh yeah. Wasn't
He was very,
I remember the one thing that I know about Churchill is that they named a type of cigar after him because he smoked a specific size of cigar. It didn't have a name, I guess, before that.
and in the morning he absolutely had to have his baths.
Yes.
So it was not uncommon for him to be sitting in a hot bath, conducting business meetings.
I've
And
heard
everybody
that.
it's like, "Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Man,
bunch of yeah.
he's an eccentric dude. Then
Yeah,
He
definitely.
was
Okay.
very eccentric.
I'll go with that. That is so weird. So then,
And I've been real into biographies and finding out more about history and stuff I don't know that much about.
That stuff
Yeah.
always fascinates me, but I am a horrible reader. So I've been getting into really like into stand-up comedy a lot lately. So I don't know if what's like a comedian that you remember like really like connecting with, like just finding somebody that just found every button that made you laugh.
Robin Williams.
oh,
What that's like a
What a
perfect
legend.
answer. I love Robin Williams. I'll watch
You know what? You couldn't watch him without laughing. He'd
Yeah,
stand up on
I'll
the
watch you
stage,
stand
and
up.
he didn't start talking, he'd start laughing.
Right.
right.
Yeah.
Did you watch a lot of what was it Mork and Mindy?
Hmm.
I did,
Yeah.
but it wasn't, you know what? That was kind of a dorky show. It wasn't until he started with this stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Younger than that, we listened to Bill Cosby, who
Mm.
now I know is not a very nice person.
Correct.
But some of
But-
his comedy was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of comedians that I've like watched interviews with have always been, yeah, I grew up listening to Bill Cosby. He was like our big influence, and everybody goes, oh no,
He was.
our most influential comedian, is this person that we
Pretty much
know,
serial rapist. Yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah.
This
He's
has this whole other side to him that's like,
Yeah.
how is there this big of a disconnect between like your public persona versus like who you actually are?
Unbelievable.
Right.
Unbelievable.
Right.
That one
Crazy.
flipped me out of the water. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just love that he was a big proponent for like clean music and like, oh, when gangster rap was becoming a thing, hey, pull your dang pants up, you whippersnappers, while he's
And you're
like
like, okay.
drugging and raping women. Is like, whatever.
You're like, yeah, you can't do that. Can't have it both ways, sir.
Ugh, crazy.
But Robin Williams, that's a good
Robin
one.
Williams is a good one. How
Another
about,
one you got to throw in there is George Carlin.
I was about to say Carlin.
Carlin.
How about Kinnison? Did you watch any Kinnison?
Not much.
Yeah,
Wow.
He was pretty funny. I like him.
I love Carlin. I'll listen to
Yeah.
his stuff to this day. Just oh my gosh, he was a prophet.
We were the other night when I was hanging out with some of my friends, we were talking about the isn't one of his bits the 7 words?
7 words you can't say on television. I won't
Yeah.
say them.
That's Carlin.
That's
Yes.
Carlin, yeah. I won't say them now, but
Oh my God.
I could tell you the 7 words.
Too funny. All right. So, any other stories from college era as we move on to today?
Not necessarily. I just that music was we did music. Your song grows to school.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
What was one of your? Because did you guys have to take like those like elective classes? What was one of your favorite electives?
You're gonna laugh at me.
No,
I'm
I won't.
excited.
I'll guarantee you I won't.
I went to a Catholic college,
Mhm.
and I had a professor that was earned her PhD out of I don't know somewhere on the East Coast, big one I can't remember, in theology,
Mhm.
and her classes were just amazing. And
Nice.
to talk about, and so I actually wound up getting out of college with a minor in theology.
What? I didn't
I
know
didn't know that. I did not know that at all.
Those are the electives, and it all started because I think I took a class on this is the Gospel of John, and
Okay.
you kind of think, you know what, you don't know nothing. And then I went through. They had classes on all for of the main apostles, and then we did a whole Old Testament. That was a whole year, breaking up the Old Testament. But what you did is you learned the whole geography, you learned the economy, you learned
Right.
everything about that time.
See,
Because you had to
I like that.
understand where those people were coming from.
Right.
I think that is a very cool like way to frame the.
Well,
the
it was, and that's what makes me mad about people to take out phrases, and it's like, no, you got to understand
Yeah.
at that
Context,
time.
right.
You can't just you had, and that's why. Like I said, I get kind of aggravated with that sometimes, but you learned everything about that area, that geography, how they lived, how they worked, what they did. And so that you knew where they were coming from
Right.
when they talked about these things. It made things a lot more, it made sense. And then, so that's why I get so aggravated with some.
Yeah, that definitely, I like the way that if I had teachers that were kind of like framing it in the historical context of.
And she was fascinating. She would put you back in time.
Yeah, that's right up my alley.
You know, she's just an incredibly charismatic person.
Nice.
So I just kept taking her classes, and they were at the perfect time because I had clinicals. So I was at the hospital most of the day. So they were usually like Tuesdays and Thursday evening. So it's like, all right, that's good time for an elective.
Yeah.
You couldn't fit one during the day. You just absolutely couldn't.
Right.
There were a lot of social work classes. I did one of those, but
the theology spoke to you.
They weren't as cool.
Yeah.
No, it just wasn't my bag.
Yeah, and especially if you have like a teacher that you can kind of connect with, that's half the battle, right?
That's what it is. And you know, the first time I took one of her classes, I was hooked. So then every semester I took more.
I had a couple teachers like that. Where I was like, yeah, what are you teaching? Yeah, I'll go learn that. Why not?
Yeah. That's absolutely fascinating. Any insights you can drop on us about theology that we would be anxious to learn about?
Well, to this day, I think you have to understand where the people, what they wrote, where they were coming from. All right. So like my favorite is St. Paul to the Corinthians. Everybody knows the Corinthians. Oh, love is blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
He went to Corinth, and these people were all fighting mercilessly, and they hated each other. They were beating on each other. They were robbing on each other. And hence Paul goes in and starts preaching all these epistles about love. And that's where it came from. It's not like he just thought all this stuff in his head. He was addressing all the problems he saw in his day.
Right.
So.
And when you're missing that component to it, it becomes the
I
thing that we say at weddings.
Right.
So I can do that. I listen to people and go, oh, you just don't get it.
Right.
Yeah. That's not, yeah.
Yeah. Do you see more of that happening now? Since, like, I mean, now that you know more about it, you learn more about it in college over time, you think it's happening more now?
Yes. Oh, yes. Oh, absolutely. We can take one line and just make it, and it's not at all what it was intended, and make it a battle cry for something moronic. And it's, oh, that just makes me turn. Ah.
Everybody take theology classes. Putting it out there in the world.
Go out and learn.
I will say this, when I went to college, because I went to a Lutheran university, we were required to take 2 theology classes because they were like, hey, if you want to know more about the world and what's going on in it, you might as well take 2 instead of just, having us take general education stuff. So I definitely learned a lot about it.
These were all electives. I don't have anything required. These were electives.
Yeah.
Because you had all your, your classes you got to get done for your your degree. And then, so we took chemistry until I was blue.
Didn't like it?
No, I actually did good. I did pretty good.
Okay.
It's just who enjoys chemistry,
Chemists.
Well, we did organic chemistry. Then you had to do, what else? Oh, just tons of stuff. So, and then the problem is the hospital that we trained at was 4 blocks away. So you also got to get, we're in Wisconsin. So you got to get up and put on your uniform, and then usually put a pair of sweatpants over because you got to walk 4 blocks.
Yeah.
And it was like, if it snowed, you walk in the middle of the street. So
uphill both ways. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
It was a hill.
Right
by the hospital was a hill. And it was slippery. Getting up, it wasn't fun.
Oh, I can't imagine it was.
So yeah, that was the other thing. It's like, that was fun. But
adventure time.
2 years. Yeah, that was 2 years of back and forth. We all did it. We went in packs.
Nice. Always good.
Army of us. This little army of us would be walking down the street.
That's great.
Well,
nice.
College times.
I was about to say, speaking of not necessarily jumping off of our religion kind of topic, but What's sort of like a sports team that you watch religiously nowadays?
Well, you could watch a lot of football. I mean, Wisconsin's like idiotic about their football.
Yeah.
They're
This is
like
true.
crazy. They're crazy about their football. And the Bears got a lot of airtime. So, and the other thing is the Bears were on WMAQ. And if it was a clear day and you were by an open window with Milo radio, I could actually pick up the Bears broadcast.
All the way up
Really?
north in Wisconsin? That's crazy.
About an hour and a half. But we could actually pick it up. And I could sometimes get the hockey games.
Nice.
But the Bears games were pretty easy to get.
Nice.
Plus, they eat, drink, everything's football. If you aren't a Wisconsin Badger fan or a Packer fan, you are beaten to death.
Yep.
This
Well,
is
back
true.
in those days, Packers really, really good. The Bears really, really weren't.
What do you mean back in those days, Nancy? I think that's still how it goes.
Yeah. There was this guy named Bart Starr, and he would just whip up everybody and just bounce them. So we watched a lot of Packer football.
Ah,
How about now? What are you watching? What sports teams are you watching nowadays?
I watched Bears and the Hawks and the White Sox.
Bears, Hawks, White. Yeah, that's
the
those are
trifecta.
the only teams that matter, right?
Yeah.
I'll be there. Well, no, I do watch women and men's soccer.
Yeah, I know I know that we've been in a lot of our family members have been getting into women's soccer too, which is really sweet.
Definitely. It's
I
become a
love
thing.
women's
Oh
soccer.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're
I think
beat.
they're on this afternoon, actually.
Are they?
If I
Nice.
remember correctly.
Nice.
The
I know
women's
that
national team, I think, is on this afternoon.
and I know that some of our family go to like the Red Star games and things like that.
Oh, yeah.
too. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yes. So that's always fun.
We did. We started to go to the Red Star games. They played at Illinois Benedictine. Well, what is it? Illinois Benedictine. It was, and just a little bitty stadium.
Mm-hmm.
And the Bears were like a buck. And you were so close.
Yeah.
You could hear him grunt. You could hear him yell. You could get him
my
hurt.
God. Yeah, you hear the impact of their actual skulls.
Well, then, right. Well, then when we got to, I don't know, it was Toyota Park for that point, you could sit down. Literally, you could get a chair or a table on what was basically like the track. So you are literally right off the field.
Oh my goodness.
And
Well,
you had to watch out because you would get a football in the head. Boom.
goodness.
So we could get really close. Now at Soldier Field, it's like, well, there's still I think there's still a Toyota Park.
Yeah, Toyota Park still. I think. Well, no, the Chicago Fire doesn't even play at Toyota Park anymore.
No, they're at Soldier Field.
Yeah.
Right.
But I like the smaller venues.
Yeah.
It's just
Makes sense.
easier. You can get into it.
Yeah.
Soldier Field's like a big mausoleum.
Oh, it's huge.
The spaceship that landed.
The spaceship that landed in Soldier Field, you mean?
No, it's the spaceship that landed in the old columns.
Yeah, that's it.
Who the hell thought that was good? Who thought that was a good idea? It looks like you got the old columns, and it looks like the remnants, and then the spaceship.
That's exactly. Yeah, that's exactly. It's an unholy fusion of past and present.
We
If you're
tried,
gonna
man.
spend that money on a stadium in Chicago, why the hell would you put a lid on it?
I don't know.
That is
Yeah.
so true.
That makes no sense whatsoever.
I will say that is very true.
That was a very dumb decision.
An
Well,
opportunity
they
missed.
just redid the football stadium in Minnesota, and they don't have a
Because
lid on it.
Well, I think
They have a stone we do.
I think they redid the stadium in Minnesota because the roof collapsed, right?
Right. Well, it was a big baggie.
Yeah, it was just it was an inflatable balloon at that point.
Oh, it really was. It was funny. We were going to a baseball game. We were going to see a White Sox Twins game. So we're going into this bubble, and it's literally a pressurized bubble. So it was terrible. Nikki was the baby, and we told his brothers, unbeknownst to me, told him if you did not hold on to something, you would get sucked up and you'd get blown away. So I can't figure out. My Nick's grabbing everything. We're going to our seats, but that was Brian and Aaron who told him that. And No, I think it was
Oh.
Brian. I think it may be Aaron too. Brian and Harry's cousin's son are about the same age. And they're telling these little guys that, and they're holding on to us. And we're like, what the heck? And finally, the two of them are cracking up so bad. Like, what did you tell them, you two big idiots?
Oh my God.
But it was it's funny when you walked out because it was pressurized air, it pushed you. You went,
Yeah.
Ah.
and you're like, whoa, that's weird.
So when you're little, you probably were like, oh, they're not lying.
I'm
But
gonna be floated off
it
in
was
space.
Hubert H. Humphrey Metrodome or something. Yeah, it was it.
Gotcha.
But it literally was a bubble that was pressurized air. And what happened is it was a bubble. There was nothing holding it up. So
Yeah.
it collapsed. And they're like, that doesn't work. But
Like, let's just get rid of it.
who would have thought a balloon for a ceiling's gonna work?
They tried. They were trying.
They were holding on.
Oh my gosh.
Hold on, Hope. All right, just a couple other
Yeah,
questions.
more.
So, what TV or podcasts or things like that are you binging right now since it's been
WandaVision.
quarantine?
WandaVision. I just
WandaVision?
watched. I just watched. What are we
The
on?
most recent
Episode
one, 7?
5 or 6 now. What was the most recent? 6.
I think it's 7. No? Am I making that up?
I think it might be 7.
I literally watched it before we started. So I was like,
What do you think, Aunt Nancy? What are your thoughts on it?
oh my gosh, Nancy.
Oh, I love it. You know what? It's funny. Aaron and I always discuss it.
Yeah.
So after
Yeah.
the first episode, we both came up with this isn't real. She's making all this up
Yeah.
because she's so empty and broken and wants all these wonderful. So it's like, were we clever? But
Oh,
back from episode 1, Aaron and I were really quite on the right track.
Oh yeah.
And then everybody's like, well, that was stupid. Let's like,
I didn't get everybody as soon as I was like, oh, what do other people think about this show? Everybody's like, I just don't get this weird vintage aesthetic. I'm like,
Ugh.
are you joking? That's like the
I
most
love it.
impressive part.
That's the best
kind
part.
of-
Is okay, what where are we now?
right,
Yeah.
What show is it?
right.
Yeah.
That was always a fun because the first one was obviously Dick Van Dyke, which
Mhm.
I grew up with.
Fun fact: Dick Van Dyke was brought on as a consultant, and that is
Really?
that is almost an exact replica of the Dick Van Dyke set.
It was perfect.
Yeah,
That is so cool.
isn't that crazy?
Yeah,
They
I'm a
actually
big in. Well,
brought it
WandaVision, you love it or you hate it, but all these
Oh.
people that were kind of skeptical in the beginning,
Mhm.
and it comes on at 3:00 in the morning our time.
Hmm.
This last week, when everybody turned on at 3 in the morning to get it live streamed, they crashed Disney for about 15 minutes.
Yep.
Kyle watches at 3:00. Aaron watches it at 4. I usually watch it at 8.
Ah,
Nice.
But so I've watched it from the
next day.
beginning all along, and I've liked it from the beginning. Going,
Oh, I love
oh,
it.
this is quirky. Where's it going? And that was
yeah.
always our theory of life. And we always thought Agnes was conveniently in the middle of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of
Yeah,
makes
Now I
sense.
know why.
I had knew a bit about the comic book that the show was based on, or like the storylines that they were going to use in the show. So I was like, who's this Agnes character? And then in the most recent episode, we realized who she actually is, which
See, I didn't watch any of this stuff. I mean, I knew Wanda from the Marvel stuff, so
Yeah.
Age of Ultron.
Right.
yeah,
But I
they're
didn't
drawn
know
on.
the other
They're
Agnes.
drawn on they're drawn on a couple of her comic book storylines that they didn't get in the films yet. So this is the House of M is the name of this kind of story that she's going on. So yeah, I think this is gonna be how they're gonna introduce like the X-Men and all that, all of them, the properties that they sold off in the 2000s.
Yep.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
they're
You're
slowly
right.
bringing those all back into the fold. So they started with Spider-Man, now they're doing Fantastic Four, and
Yeah, so Aaron keeps me updated in that part because he's seen all that stuff,
yeah.
Definitely. Very
all the
nice.
X-Men stuff.
What's something non-Disney like? I don't know. I'm trying to think. I've been watching The Expanse a lot, so I know
Oh, on Netflix?
that's on Amazon. So I know
on Amazon.
we were all big Game of Thrones fans. Do you have another show that's like in that kind of vein, that fantasy sort of like, not like brutally bloody and murdery.
Yeah, it's really
But,
dark all the
you
time.
know, a little bit.
I watch a couple series on Apple TV.
Yeah.
Oh,
I got free Apple TV when Brian or Aaron bought me my iPad for Christmas, and you got a year of free Apple TV. But every time it comes time to renew, they said, "Oh, we just gave you 3 more months."
nice. Not complaining.
Can't complain there. What's good on Apple TV? I haven't watched.
I watch this, and it's dark and it's nasty and it's going all sorts of bad places. It's called Servant,
Okay.
and it's really twisted in all kind of places. Friday morning when everything comes on, I just start binging because all my shows that I watch all come on Friday morning.
Yeah, dude. Fridays
Friday
are
binge day.
stacked.
The other show they have, and they're finishing up season 2 of both of those, is a series about. It's called Emily Dickinson, and it's about her life. Well, it's really kind of fun.
Oh, nice.
But it's
I've
done
heard
with
good
like a really twisted pop. Like they'll have some real modern music and stuff, which doesn't fit at all with the time, but it's fun.
Yeah.
Did you read a lot of Dickinson also?
No, not at all. I'm not into poetry.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
Haley Steinfeld is in this, and she is just fabulous.
Really? I've seen her in a
fabulous.
couple movies and stuff. I
I
like
she
her.
makes it so. She's good.
Nice. Any hidden gem movies that you could
Yeah.
recommend in addition to your TV show recommendations?
I think the last movie I saw was Greyhound off Apple TV with Tom Hanks.
Interesting.
That was really good.
I think I remember seeing commercials for that, but I think I'm also mixing that up with like what's the bridge of spies or something. I think that's what I'm thinking of.
Oh, that was a while ago.
That's a long time ago though.
Yeah.
No, it's a movie about he is a Navy pilot in World War II. The supply ships.
I might be. I
think block.
That.
It was really good.
Yeah. Well, Allie, I think I know we need to get some Apple TV going.
I know. I'll have to get that next. Sorry, a cat just walked. A cat just walked across both of my windows because I have like a little brick overhang that on the front of my house where the bottom half's brick and then it transitions into like paneling. And a cat just
so it wasn't your cat.
Not my cat.
Many cats.
Just walked across like a little cat highway.
A stray cat.
Across my whole office windows. That's too funny. Sorry. Got really distracted for a couple seconds.
Distracted by a cat. Don't worry.
It happens. All right. Well, any other pop culture things you'd like to share from today? I know quarantine has driven us all a little crazy in terms of consuming pop culture stuff.
You know, I still like. I'm a big classic rock music person, just not into much stuff. I'm proud I taught my children well.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
You guys were taught well.
Yeah, we definitely have my music taste is just inherently better than most other people's. I know.
Yes, it is. Well, that's your father's fault.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
I got
correct.
Oh, man, we're trying to move the record collection, and it's there's just so many. Anytime it's like, oh, let's just because we got him a record player that you can record onto like the computer. So he's been steadily going through and trying to rip all of his vinyl onto waveforms. So
and that's what I want to do is get one of the tables I got from Nana's is one I plan to put a record player on. And
nice.
we have, between Perry and I, we have over 200 albums. So
oh man,
what's going to be your first listen when you get it?
Oh, I just got to get them all out.
You gotta look at what you got again.
Yeah, I guarantee you my dad doesn't know half the albums that he has in his collection.
No.
I do know that we have the soundtrack to what is it, the Sound of Music?
Maybe
that
sounds right.
It's like the original pressing of the original soundtrack for The Sound of Music.
I think I probably have that.
Just a bunch of goofy records.
Oh, that was a great movie. I still love that movie.
Yeah,
it's a classic for sure.
It is a classic.
It always comes out on TV right around like Easter, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
definitely. Oh well,
Cool.
Aunt Nancy, thanks for
Yeah.
teaching us more about your
This is
pop culture timeline here. I will say the fact that you were such a big Monkeys fan is what like blew my mind this
Yeah.
time around. I was like, oh, I didn't know
well,
that.
they were, that was the hot thing over the kids.
Oh yeah.
Heck yes.
That was like that was their version of a boy band, Allie. That was the first one.
I'm just
What?
saying. It's so true.
Oh man. Yeah, that's crazy.
Nice.
Yeah, I've learned a lot. I don't know about you, Allie.
I did. I feel like I know you
I
better,
feel like
Amy.
I have
We're all
a
very
better
silly.
appreciation now for
Yes.
the amount of time that's passed. That's
I think
amazing.
silly's a good excuse. I think
I
we're
think
all
so.
silly.
I think yeah, silly
To our cores.
Yeah.
All right, Miss Allison, what are you doing right now?
What am I up to right now? Well, I'm here. I'm gonna plan on making some food later today.
Yeah.
Uh,
Are you
I got-
I'm
teaching?
gonna eat. I'm gonna sleep. I'm gonna breathe.
I'm trying to think.
Hey,
um,
I can't share my popcorn. Sorry.
Oh, go
Ah.
ahead. Don't even worry about it.
one day they will come up with a way to virtually share things. And that day, I will be very happy.
Are you
Yeah.
teaching?
One more time.
Are you teaching?
Oh, so no, I'm not teaching at the moment. I'm on like the list for adjunct teaching. However, there's not a lot of enrollment in community colleges at the moment because a lot of
Yeah.
people that would be enrolling in community colleges are
Can't
using
afford
money
it right now.
money for other things. So yeah, I've been kind of just exploring video editing, putting together little short videos for like informational kind of stuff for meteorology and
Cool.
for geography, things like that. Just at this point, they're very bad, but I'm trying to figure out how to
Fix
kind
it.
of
We're working on
You'll
it.
Yeah.
fix it.
how to kind of make all these videos. So doing stuff like this helps where it's like, okay, let's try to like talk through some things and then go into the editing and
Mhm.
kind of edit it together and make it look nice and things like that. But yeah, otherwise, I'm trying to think of what I'm doing the upcoming week. I think this cold snap here kind of threw us off because we were in the process of grouting all of our kitchen backsplash. But that wall is so cold now, I can't put the grout in.
That's
So-
why I'm laughing.
it's just completely frozen. So we got to wait until it's a warmer temperature before we can finish our indoor grouting.
They don't have insulation down there.
Yeah, I was about
Nope.
to they just let all the
Nope.
pipes freeze. They don't care.
Pretty much.
Well, it usually doesn't get that cold.
That's 100%
Nope.
true.
Yeah, let's just say that it historically has not gotten this cold down here.
In a while.
In the future, I'm not sure that it will be so anomalous. Let's just put it that way. So, yeah,
Y'all
it's definitely
learned
been
your
an adventure.
lesson.
Yeah, get on it.
Tell your
But yeah,
dad to mail you a snow shovel.
That is true. We
we are the only ones here, I think, with a snow shovel. When John had to go to work one morning, we had an ice, like a thing to brush off and then chip the ice off. We were the only one on the whole block that had one.
Ugh.
So he was sitting there, scraping it all off and
don't get
all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah.
if you live in the Midwest, you have a snow brush shovel for your car. You just have one.
Yeah,
Like,
it's always in your
just
car.
part of your car.
A blanket and charger cable.
Blank-
Yep. Blanket, charger kit.
Yep.
And then every now and then, if you're like, okay, I'm going to be going, lots of places this winter, a box of kitty litter.
Mhm.
You know what? Before we all had different tires, we all used to put a bag or a sand
Sand. Yeah.
Sand, yeah.
to weight the car down because my little gremlin had no traction, so I had a few bags of sand in there, so I didn't just turn around and ice skate my car on the intersection.
No weight over the back wheels, right?
I'd
Oh
like
my
to change my
God.
answer. As much as I liked your monkeys answer, learning about your bright
Gremlin.
yellow and orange car was also a highlight for
Orange
me.
racing stripes.
Orange racing stripes.
Hello, an
Orange racing stripes.
Oh my gosh. Gremlins.
Oh my God, it was so awful,
Disgusting cars.
and I loved it. It was a good little car.
Gremlins are like they're like pacers almost. It's just like what's a
Right.
terrible car from the 70s. Oh,
Why
okay.
don't you? Yes, make a car on a skateboard. 'Cause
Right.
You feel like your bottom end scraping so bad. Oh
Is it
yeah.
even made out of metal? I don't know. Okay.
Just to
Oh
double
my
check.
goodness, that's amazing. Yeah. Amazing. Yeah, Nancy, these have been amazing answers.
Yes.
Yeah, I couldn't have. I think this was a very good first attempt, or not first.
You were
first
I did
live.
okay.
a great first guest to
I
do
think
this
so.
pop culture
Okay.
timeline with.
Eating popcorn right in your face.
Yep.
Perfect. As you should. As you should.
Nice.
I also, I now know my love of popcorn comes.
Yeah,
It's
dude,
in the
I
bones
didn't know
now.
that.
It's in
So,
the blood.
my
My dad, that
memory-
was our go-to snack because he'd buy these bags of
Right.
popcorn, which were really, really cheap. And then with several batches, you can feed this whole mound of kids.
Yes.
So that was
Yeah,
our go-to
so-
snack.
Yeah,
sense.
my poor memory and my love of popcorn are both genetic, I guess.
Perfect.
Kool-Aid. Kool-Aid,
Ah.
yeah.
We did have a lot of.
I still
Yes.
drink Kool-Aid.
Well, I mean,
You know what we made the other day? We made from powder Gatorade, and
Oh,
I was like, "Oh my god, this tastes like every soccer practice growing
Yes.
up." From
Well,
when we
I
were
drink
younger.
that because I take a couple of water pills. So
Yes.
I have to replace my electrolytes. Otherwise, I get
Good.
cramps.
yeah,
So I have a Gatorade every day.
As you should.
nice.
Definitely,
But I
definitely.
drink
That's
Crystal
awesome.
Lights. I make a fruit punch
Crystal
like
Lights.
that.
Nana
Crystal
drank a
Light.
lot of Crystal Light too.
She did.
Yeah.
But that's because she graduated from Kool-Aid.
From the Kool-Aid, exactly.
She graduated from the
Logical
Kool-Aid.
step. It's the adult version of Kool-Aid.
The adult Kool-Aid is the Crystal Light.
Right.
Oh man.
Oh,
Great.
alrighty. Well,
Well, I think that'll bring us to a close.
Yes.
Yeah, unless there's anything particular that you were like, oh my gosh, I really wish they would have asked me about X, Y, or Z.
No, one of the things one of the things I came up with is how our parents improvised because we had nowhere to go. So the garages became your playhouses.
yeah.
Which the cousins kind of had a similar experience where it was like, hey, I don't know, for pool party Wednesdays, it was, hey, stay in the Schluter's yard. That was sort of like, go do what you want, but just stay here.
You know what? And there we did. We all hung out in the
Yeah.
garage.
We all
We've
hung
done
out.
that ever since they moved in, pretty
Yeah.
much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you for coming, giving us a little bit of your time, letting us pick your
Yeah.
brain.
Letting us save all your stories for posterity.
So you got to spread the word. Tell everybody in the Runkle household that they should come on and talk about something.
Yes.
You can ask the older ones about the mashed potatoes on the ceiling.
Oh yeah.
I'm definitely going to.
And Steve is the one that popped him up there.
We'll definitely get Steve. Steve has been high on our hit list. We're definitely
definitely
gonna go to him.
And you think you're going to get straight answers out of him?
Oh no.
Of course not.
Of course
Okay,
not.
good.
I gotta
You're
be on
going
my
with
A
the
game.
We almost need somebody else with us to like, hey, no, that
Yes.
story's BS. Okay, that one's true. Okay, no, that one's like, we need somebody to call the balls and strikes.
Yep.
No, I think he'll tell you the right stories, but he just gives you.
In a roundabout.
It's
Yeah.
the sense of humor, the deadpan, the picking apart your words. I got to be on top of my game when it comes to all my jokes.
Oh yeah, yep,
Whew.
yep.
So I'm
Yep,
excited.
we'll do it.
Well,
Well, we love you, Aunt Nancy.
we will let you get running here. So yeah, we won't take up any more of your time, but I want to thank you again for doing
I think
this.
talking to you guys has been awesome. It's so nice to see.
That's the one thing that
It's
we've
so good to
kinda
see you
noticed.
too.
It's so nice. Like at first this started off with us just like, man, we're so bored. We don't have anything to do. And
Yeah.
we miss hanging out with all of our family because we would see you guys all the time. And it's just
Yeah,
it feels so
At least
strange.
on a weekly basis.
at least
for sure.
once a week. And
Mhm.
and to go from once a week to not seeing you guys like at all, it was
For like
it
a
was
year.
awful. So we're like, what can we do to kind of prevent this from becoming permanent? Because that's the last thing any of us would want. So
Right. It is to hang
you
out
know,
virtually.
if we can,
So this is awesome. You guys are doing this. I'm
yeah,
very excited.
we're trying. We're trying.
We're gonna keep it going as long as we can.
As long as
It'll
we
be
can
okay.
as long as we can get amazing guests like you, Nancy.
Exactly.
The other person's not interviewing your father's going to be interesting.
Like that's why we're like he offered really early to be. Oh yeah, I'll be like one of the first ones. They go.
I think we
I
gotta
don't know
save him.
I don't know if we're ready for that.
Yeah.
You know.
Dude, we gotta work up to it.
All right. So yeah, we'll be working on that, and then you're more than welcome to come back at any point in time. If you want to come back when WandaVision is over, we can have a whole WandaVision episode.
Yes.
Oh my God, I love WandaVision.
It'll be
Definitely.
We got
Yeah, I got from minute one. I was soaked into that.
Oh, me too.
Oh man.
Agreed.
All right. Cool.
Well, we got future plans.
Thank
Thanks,
you guys.
Thanks to everybody for watching. Click things, subscribe to things, watch more videos.
There's a series of buttons to press that you everybody knows what buttons to press. What like and
no, I never know. Yeah, I knew what button to press.
So
what do I do?
I just love every video ends. Please, guys, remember to like and yeah. I think they get it. I think they know what to do. So you know what to do. If you want
know
to
the things.
follow us, all right?
Exactly.
There you go.
All right, love you, Aunt Nancy. We'll talk to you later.
Love you guys.
All right.
Take care. Bye bye.
All right.
You think I know how to turn this off, don't you?